Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie and welcome to another video for Eve Echoes. In today's video we're going to be looking at how to set up a Capsuleer Outpost, in my case specifically for completing the CONCORD Pass in the most chill and easiest way possible. This Capsuleer Outpost has been donated by Ray F. Murphy, so thank you ever so much for the kind donation in allowing me to showcase in this video. Now, some of you may be thinking, hang on a second Benzie, this is really old news. But yes, whilst it's really old news, it's also something I've never personally really engaged with, and it's something I still get a lot of questions about, so I thought now was the perfect time to sit down and showcase this all actually in action. So we're going to be setting up a Capsuleer Outpost using the resource management centers to help complete the CONCORD Pass in a ridiculously easy way, which is perfect if, like me, you're big on exploration, or you just like to have multiple different avenues of playstyle. You don't necessarily want to set the CONCORD Pass to be X, Y, or Z, because you do lots of different things, and thus it can be hard to actually achieve everything all in one go. This will allow you to complete the CONCORD Pass whilst not even being anywhere near your citadel, which now that we've got jump clones is an even easier and much more fun and enticing thing. So, without further ado, if you do enjoy this video, please let me know by hitting a like on it, subscribe to the channel for all things Eve Echoes, dinging that notification bell to never miss an upload, and if you do want to go the extra mile to keep me doing what I do, well, head over to my Patreon page or my Redbubble merchandise store. You can check out all the cool stuff over there. Anyway, with all that said and done then, let's talk about Capsuleer Outposts, remote resource management centers, and how to set up the CONCORD Pass to complete this in literally 2 days. Now, first of all, of course, you're going to need a Capsuleer Outpost of your own. I've had one for the longest time, the Catskill Observatory. It's been anchored and really doing absolutely nothing, which is a shame and a real waste on my part, but hey, we live and learn. So a big thank you to OttoMckannick for spending some time last week sitting down and showcasing to me how to actually get that set up and operational so that, well, I can actually showcase it to you guys as well, now that I understand actually what's going on. Again, Capsuleer Outposts are a part of Eve Echoes that I've just never really engaged with because the concept of space station ownership and management just didn't really appeal to me. So anyway, now I've got that one set up, we're going to be setting this one up in the video, and again, thank you and a huge shout out to Ray F. Murphy for donating this station, and congratulations on achieving his goal of building 100 Capsuleer Outposts. That is a humongous achievement and really quite impressive for one guy to pull off, so really well done there. Anyway, so in order to anchor a Capsuleer Outpost, I've done an entire video on that already. If you've just got yourself Capsuleer Outpost and you're looking to learn more about how to actually get it anchored in space, I do recommend watching that video. I'll put a link on screen now and in the description down below. Also at the end of this video that you can check and go through and watch that one. Now, assuming that you've anchored, assuming that the station is set up and available for you to dock at, so 24 hours must have passed, you're going to need to dock up at said station with the resource management center modules in whatever ship that you dock in. Now, fortunately, these are actually really small modules. You can carry them in an interceptor. A simple Atron interceptor at tech level 8 will carry both of those comfortably. We can dock up and use it. Once we've got all that sorted, we then go to the menu here on the right-hand side, and we're going to tap on the glowing Manage button here. Now here this opens the Manage Personal Citadel, and the first thing we're going to do then is go to Permissions to Enter. So let's tap this and have a look. Now here you can see that I've set mine up with my contacts that are blue and my current alliance. You'll find that most people actually just kind of go for the current alliance because of OPSEC reasons. We can also untick current alliance and only allow your current corporation. You'll notice that when you tap on current corporation or current alliance, the other one will grey itself out because of course your alliance includes your corporation. So if you're allowing everyone in your alliance to dock, you're allowing everyone in the corporation to dock as well. Whereas if you're only allowing the corporation to dock, it's excluding the rest of your alliance. So most people will go for a setup much like this, just current alliance, and then hit OK. You can then see under Permission to Enter, it's now changed that to just the alliance, and so we can go comfortably with that. The second thing we're then going to look at is structure fitting. So structure fitting, if we tap on this, opens up a fitting page very similar to what we've seen for other ships. And just like other ships, we have high slots, mid slots, and low slots, which are varied. Obviously, high slots tend to be things like weapons, if you want to fit some missiles on there. If you want to put an Upwell Weber fire on here, that would be a mid slot. Today, though, we're just looking at the low slots for this. So we're going to tap on the low slots, and you can see I've got my 2 resource extraction centers already in the hold of this outpost. I've taken them out of the Mammoth and put them into the station hangar. Now, if we long press on one of these, we can see what they are. So first of all, there's a lot of fuel going to be consumed by these, so you're going to need a decent amount of fuel to set up with. I do recommend plasmoids to start off with, just because they're fairly easy to carry a whole ton of them and get them into the hold, but anything will work. Heavy water is another very popular one, and so on. Now, if we then go down lower, the bits that we're most interested in are these 4 statistics here. And it's worth noting that when it talks about mining time, here it's talking about planetary mining, so PI, PP, however you want to refer to it, the planetary mining here. And it's going to increase the current constellation's mining time by 24 hours, so any mining arrays that you have set up on planets in this constellation will have an additional 24 hours on their timer. They will also have their cargo increased by 200 cubic meters. You can set up 3 more planets in the constellation, and you can increase the amount of mining arrays on those planets by 4. Now, this is absolutely amazing for those of you who are working on PI, and you'll notice if I go into the skills here on Silent Rose and into Natural Science, I have nothing in planetology, so that's something we are going to need to seriously set up. I'm going to move across to Benzie later to showcase how I've got this all set up. Later on, you can see how the skills would affect that, but those are the skills you're going to need to have trained. Once you've got those trained, or heck, even before you've got them trained, we come to the fitting screen, and we're going to fit each of these resource extraction centers into the low slots here, and you'll see we get that notification that I don't have enough gigajoules of fuel to actually get this working. So the next thing you're going to have to do, of course, is to actually come out of all of this, go into your inventory, and then where we have Rose Garden here on the left-hand side, there is a fuel tank. You're going to need to get a whole ton of fuel and haul it out to your station and dump it into the fuel tank. As much as you can afford, really. Get it in there nice and quickly. We will set things up later on to actually be generating fuel that will help keep this running indefinitely, pretty much. Anyway, with that now all showcased, I'm going to swap across to Benzie, and we're going to showcase how to actually use the planetary mining side of things. Here we are then on Captain Benzie, docked up at the Catskill Observatory, my Capsuleer Outpost that I've had up and running for a little bit longer now. If I go to Manage in this particular station and Structure Fitting, you'll see that both of the resource management centers in the low slots are no longer grayed out, because I have plenty of fuel now currently keeping both of those running, and you can check this by opening up your inventory and going to Fuel Tank for the station. And there you can see I've got 0.64 million heavy water and 0.27 million plasmids. The plasmids are the things that I put in right at the start there in order to get this kicked off and going. Now, first things first then, let's have a look at the skills that I'm using in order to run this properly. So if I go into the skill tree, into Natural Science on the right-hand side, you can see Planetology I have at 554. I am currently training into 555. Expert Planetology 5 is well worth it. The amount of additional materials that gives per activation is massive and well worth training into. I just wanted to finish off my hacking skills first of all, because they were a little bit short. You can see I've only got 7 days out of the 60 left on that. Anyway, so with that up and running, I then would recommend that you head across to a website called Echo's PI Search. The address for that is echoes-pi.herokuapp.com. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. You can search your region and constellation for particular materials, and you're going to want to first of all pick your region, your constellation, and set your desired PI material for some kind of fuel. You will need some kind of fuel. Then have a look through the rest of the list. You should be able to have up to 11 different PI setups that you can then harvest, and this will allow you to choose anywhere in the current region. Back here on Benzie, if I then open up my planetary production tab, and when this loads, you'll see that on the left-hand side, I've got a whole load of different planets all set up within the same constellation as my current Capsuleer Outpost. Now, if I tap into any one of these, you'll see that the timer on them is over 70 hours. And what I can now do is just go down these one by one and tap on launch. Now, these will actually all be sent directly into the hold of the station that I'm currently in. And you can see that this is completing CONCORD Pass missions for me, even though I only launched these about an hour or two ago. So I'm still actually getting stuff for those. And yeah, it's worth having a look if you're part of an alliance as well, what materials your alliance is looking to buy from you, so that you can prioritize those if you're looking to make ISK out of it. Otherwise, look for the ones that are just the biggest cubic meters in order to just complete the CONCORD Pass. Now, what you need to do before this, ultimately, is to fly around that constellation and set up manually on every single planet the different PI mining arrays, as per Eve Echo's PI search. You'll have that list. I recommend writing that out, pen and paper if you have to, or just print a little note or use a second screen or something. Maybe use another phone or use your computer. Fly out to each of those planets, set up the mining arrays. When you are back at the station, then hit that reset. Shortcut operation, it'll extend all of your different planets there and get those ready to go. Once you have refreshed the first time, you will then have linked every single mining array in the constellation to those resource management centers, so that when you hit launch, they launch directly into the station hold. So if I come out of that menu, give everything a second to load on the terrible internet here, and now go to the item hangar, you'll see that everything here is coming directly into the hangar of this station. So I can then go into the fuel and move that into the fuel tank. The other materials, I could then gather those up, put them into my ship and fly them to wherever it is that I want to sell them. Now, I tend to do this obviously through Void directly, so I sell these, and this way I just move them into a station and we use our PI buyback program. But even if you're taking this to market, obviously wait until you've got a decent amount and then run it all up in one go. I think actually, in fairness, pretty much all of this, let's not leave the fuel, and will comfortably fit in the cargo hold of my Wreath here, and I can move that around to wherever I need. And again, we're just going to keep moving this into the hold. And of course, those are just going to keep appearing simply because I'm currently bringing it from those different mining setups. They are, you can see, just filling up my cargo hold here over time as it gradually moves through. Now, the second and final stage of this is to go into the CONCORD Pass itself, and under your missions, you need to set up the mine 1,200 cubic meters of planetary materials, mine 2,000 cubic materials of planetary materials, and mine 600 cubic meters of planetary materials. Those three missions, you'll find very quickly complete the CONCORD Pass for the week for you. You can see here that I've been sort of just casually doing this over the weekend. I keep forgetting to do it, and I'm still already at 1,370 out of 1,750 for the week. This will very quickly complete and allow me to max out the CONCORD Pass. It's well worth doing because I can do that whilst exploring. I can be out elsewhere in New Eden. I just open up the planetary production window, I launch all of the stuff, and it'll start completing CONCORD Pass missions for me. Nice and straightforward, and you don't have to worry about PI thieves grabbing your boxes before you can fly out to each individual planet and pick them up manually. Yes, the Capsuleer Outposts are quite expensive as an initial startup cost, but they make that ISK back very, very quickly if you're going to be setting up the right PI and selling it on the market, or selling it to your corporation or alliance, or however you want to do it. But there we are. That is basically the setup I wanted to talk about. How to get a Capsuleer Outpost up and running in order to earn yourself a good amount of ISK and complete the CONCORD Pass missions every week, quickly, efficiently, and most importantly for me at least, remotely. Nice and easy, nice and straightforward, great way of maxing things out. And now that I've got one on Silent Rose as well, again, thank you to Ray F. Murphy for that one, I can now be completing the CONCORD Pass easily on 2 characters without having to worry too much about what those characters are doing. Silent Rose I would have to undock and just go ratting in order to just complete those, and when you're flying mainly a Hurricane, that's not necessarily the most fun you could be having. So for me, it's nice that I can not worry about the CONCORD Pass, and I can just get on with playing the game the way that I want to play it while still earning those really awesome rewards. Anyway, folks, that's all for today's video. Let me know if that's been helpful. I know it's a little bit late to the party for some people. Again, Capsuleer Outposts, Corporation Citadels, this kind of stuff is the stuff I don't really delve into all that much in content because, well, the Capsuleer Outposts I should have done. I just didn't, like, get involved with it as much as I should have personally, and I'm, well, regretting that now because of the sheer amount of ISK I've missed out on and how much effort I've had to put into completing CONCORD passes in the past. But the Corporation Citadels and Corporation stuff, I don't tend to showcase in videos because, well, most people who are running corporations are pretty clued up on things anyway, and I'm aiming my content more at sort of the average player of the game. Anyway, with all that said and done, hopefully this has been useful. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Otherwise, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.